Okay, and we are rolling. So on our last podcast recording, video, whatever you want to call it, kind of ran long, and that goes against the point of the whole, like, to the point functional medicine, right? So we're going to try to make this one a little bit quicker here, and we are talking about sweat. Kind of as a little side note, do you ever think about like certain songs when we come up with the topic?
I want to hear from you first.
Yeah, so like every time we have like a certain topic, and I don't know why, but like certain songs will come up like, oh, that reminds me of this song. And sweat is, and I don't know who sung it or sings it, but it's like reminds me of like an old rap song, like sweat, baby, 1, 2, 3, sweat, baby. Yeah, do you recognize that song?
I honestly don't.
Yeah, it's probably before your time anyway.
Well, I was going to say, I tell my husband all the time, he listens to certain music when he's feeling old.
So let's get started here. So benefits of sweat. So what we're going to do is we're just going to alternate back and forth really quick. So I'll let you start with number 1.
Okay. Sweat really is just a detox tool. I know a lot of people really focus on their liver and kidneys as like our body's main organs, but really sweat is incredibly important when it comes to any detoxification, really. Because basically that sweat is what helps your body release those toxins like heavy metals. A lot of these harmful chemicals can also be released. So part of, our patient's protocol, not only making sure that they're drinking enough water so they do pee and making sure that they're eating the right foods for their liver, but it's like, do you sweat and making them sweat every single day just to help their body like really flush those out. So,
it doesn't really matter how you sweat, just that you sweat.
Exactly.
But typically in a sauna, like it's going to be a lot easier to sweat a lot.
Yeah. And that's part of like what our protocol consists of is using the sauna. Honestly, I tell people if you're exercising every single day and you can exercise hard enough to get yourself to sweat, there's a form right there. But
most people don't, truthfully, they don't exercise that hard, right?
No,
they don't.
I sweat.
Like even when I go to the gym and I lift weights or whatever, I get sweaty, but it's not nearly the same as going in 30 minutes in like an infrared sauna.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Now there is one guy that I play pickleball with, and I kid you not, so he has to change his shirt every 2 games. And pickleball is like, okay, it can be pretty physical, but in general, like you don't need to change your shirt every 2 games.
No.
But he sweats like crazy.
He really detoxes.
Yeah. So yeah, he does. So on that topic of sweating and exercise, kind of a little fun fact here, cooling your body, right? Sweating cools your body, and it can cool your body anywhere from 0.95 degrees Fahrenheit up to 4.5 degrees Fahrenheit per hour of sweating, which is pretty significant and kind of cool.
Yeah.
So number 3, improves skin health by detoxing. It's pretty simple. It helps clear your pores, hydrates your skin, right? Brings all that moisture to your skin. A ton of benefits.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Another one is it helps your immune system. This is not one that's very known to people because we do think about it really just for detox. But sweating is good to help reduce the inflammation, which obviously is part of a lot of different chronic diseases. It increases the production of your white blood cells, which is obviously your body's immune system. Sweating is also good for that.
Yeah, and don't fight a fever, right? Let it run its course generally.
Biggest pet peeve.
Yeah.
But what you don't know, you don't know.
True. And everybody has always been told fever's bad. Well, fever actually decreases the rate at which bacteria and viruses replicate. So it's actually very beneficial. It's part of your immune system. There is a point of, too much of a good thing can be bad. Right. So, obviously, you don't want it to go too high. And this is not medical advice, but typically for kids, 103, even 104 is not that high. Now for an adult, that's definitely different. So a couple other ones here, and I know you're kind of going off your abbreviated version, boost circulation. So I'm going back to number 4.
Okay.
By just heating things up, circulation improves.
Yeah.
Number 5 is improving mental clarity. So decreasing stress. Decreasing stress improves your adrenals. Adrenals control your hormones. Right? Also, detoxing and getting rid of those toxins, just having toxins in your system, is also a form of stress as well.
Yep.
Number 7. What do you have for number 7?
I think that's where me and you are different.
Yes.
I'm trying to look for
So
number
I had
7.
cardiovascular health, which kind of goes back to the circulation stuff, but
Let me just go back to I think that point for me was just number 3.
Mm-hmm.
But that I just had with circulation and heart health, it helps your tissues, right? Oxygenate more, helps with the nutrients. It also helps your lymphatic system, which a lot of people also don't know too much about, but that's really just our garbage can. And if we can help flush that out, it's a lot of waste and toxins in there as well. That's
kind of on that, if you can, especially if you have to bring it with you, if you go to like infrared sauna or something like that, do dry brushing beforehand.
Love that.
Kind of stimulate it before.
Absolutely. I think that's all I had. I just had like really just, it helps really promote better blood flow. So that helps enhance your heart function and just overall circulatory wellness.
Okay. And then I'm going to add here, so I have a couple extra notes. One particular study, probably the biggest study, it was 2,300, and I'll post the link, 2,300 middle-aged men from Eastern Finland who were tracked for an average of 20 years. The researchers found that reduced risk of sudden cardiac death, fatal coronary heart disease, cardiovascular disease, and all-cause mortality in sauna users. So it was, the risk reduction was dose dependent. And so for men reporting using the sauna 4 to 7 times per week, a coronary heart disease was significantly lower than compared to men who only used it once per week. And probably one of the most interesting things on this was all-cause mortality, not just cardiovascular, was 40% lower among sauna users. So I guess sauna users are just healthier in general. They probably have, healthier habits, which kind of leads to all-cause mortality going down.
Absolutely. And if you just think about all the things that we said, I mean, number 1, heart health, you think about that being our main concern, especially for women. I know that they did the study on men, but heart health is really important. And then just if you're having that advantage of detoxing over the normal individual who just doesn't, I mean, you have to understand that will load you up, and it's that trickle down effect, right? So if you have just that benefit, I mean, I can understand why.
Unfortunately, we live in a very toxic world, and you can't avoid the toxins.
Right.
You can reduce your exposure, and you can help your body get rid of them as well. Sweat, yeah, absolutely. I mean, all you have to do there is just sit in the sauna. You don't really have to do a whole lot, right?
Yeah. And you can watch a show or read or listen to a podcast inside there.
Yeah. We have one at home now. So the one in the office is like a 2-person one. So the one at home, we actually decided to go to a 3-person one because I can't lay down in this one, but the one at home I can lay down. So, if I go in it, I just turn on a podcast and I'll take a little nap for like 45 minutes. It's a hot nap, but it's
love
a nap.
that. That's lovely.
Yeah. Kind of back to that study, people that use the sauna 4 to 7 times per week had a 63% reduction in cardiovascular events. And then, let's see, it was people that used it 2 to 3 times per week. It was 23%. So it definitely goes up quite a bit the more you use it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Number 8 on here, and I'm not sure if you have it in your notes in here, weight management. So did you have any notes on that?
You go ahead while I look for it.
Yeah. So while it doesn't necessarily burn calories itself, by inducing sweating, it does help with weight management, right? Decreases inflammation, decreases those toxins. Many toxins, not all of them, but many of them are, they're lipophilic, meaning they're fat-loving. So I think it was Dr. Mark Hyman that said the body's solution to pollution is dilution. Basically, if you have a bunch of toxins, your body will try to make it less toxic by diluting it with more toxins. So we've had a number of patients if one of their goals was to lose weight, they haven't been able to lose weight until they actually detox.
No,
okay,
I
so I'm going to do mood enhancement here.
Go ahead.
Mood enhancement, it releases endorphins. It does help with stress reduction overall, which helps with your adrenals. Adrenals helps with hormones and depression and just kind of overall mood. So pretty plain and simple. It also regulates your electrolytes, sodium and potassium, right? A lot of benefits with that as well. So what is the next one that you have?
That was it. It was just tips.
Okay. And then healthier hair and promoting longevity, primarily through that study that we talked about there. All right, so what are some of your tips?
So the tips, just definitely exercising regularly. I tell my patients, obviously, like you had just said, if you're not lifting weights and getting the sweat that you need, then just, I say aim to get your heart, I think it's in zone 2, right? And that's really just to help you get that rigorous exercise for at least 30 minutes a day. I tell my patients. I believe the recommendation is like 150 for the whole week. So if you can break that down, however much time or how many days that you have. Obviously, using the sauna, which we have one here. So I do recommend it to a lot of my patients. If patients, especially during the summer, if they're in high heat places, that's definitely a way to sweat. So you can use either or, making sure that they're really staying hydrated. I tell my patients all the time, if you are using a sauna and or sweating, like especially if we're doing exercise, make sure that you throw some electrolyte liquids or powder into your water so you can get back what you're losing, which a lot of people really don't.
Yeah, and here's some numbers. So at resting, you can lose anywhere from half a liter to a liter per day. When you're exercising, you can lose anywhere from 1 to 2 liters per hour, up to 3 to 4 per hour. And then in a hot environment, somewhere between 90 to 100 degrees, you can lose anywhere from 2 to 3 liters per hour. So
people need to hear those facts. Yeah. I really don't think they understand.
I mean, that's a good amount of water.
Yeah. And especially for our older population as well. I think it's really crucial for them to get it back. I know kids lose it a little bit easier than adults do as well. So it's really important to make sure that your kids are getting those electrolytes back, and then for yourself too. So I think people really need to hear those facts.
And then I just kind of want to mention, going back to the detoxing stuff, because there's a ton of benefits to sweating, but in my opinion, the detoxing aspect is probably one of the biggest.
Yeah.
So everybody always asks, well, which one specifically? So arsenic, cadmium, lead, mercury, there's metabolic byproducts, urea, ammonium, creatinine. There's certain medications, so caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, prescription medications, opioids, PCBs, pesticides, organophosphates, BPAs, PHAs, phthalates, which are plastics. So kind of, not everything, but there's a ton of stuff that gets detoxed in our sweat.
Yeah.
So something that a lot of people say is, and I'm sure you've heard this before, I don't sweat.
Yes.
So what do you say for people that say I don't sweat?
That I really start them off with lymphatic drainage, and I let them know that we sweat for a reason and your body's trying to tell us something.
Okay. And then another thing that I always add into is just your body doesn't know how, right? It's just kind of like anything in your body, is you need to train it to do it.
Yeah.
The fact that you're not sweating doesn't mean you don't need to sweat. It's just that you haven't, or you don't.
Yeah.
So you can train your body to sweat. The initial adaptation period is about 2 to 4 days of doing something on a regular basis. You kind of get that initial adaptation. After about 7 to 14 days, then you have a more significant and then optimal acclimatization or adaptation is 2 to 4 weeks. And so to get that, you're typically going about 3 to 5 times per week, whether you're exercising or sauna or whatever, to train your body to sweat. So it's definitely something you can do.
Yeah.
And then my last question is there a best type of sweating?
No, sweat.
Exactly. However you can get to sweat, then do it. Yep. All right, Jessica, anything to add to this?
This was to the point, guys.
To the point. Yeah, we are
shooting for.
Where's my timer at? I can't even see my timer, but I feel like we're right at 10 minutes. Maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah, it might have been a little bit longer. That was great.
That was good. Good job. High five. All right. This is Nurse Jessica. I'm Dr. Craig. We will see you next time. Be healthy, be happy.
See you next time.